YouTube? Welcome back to another myth busting series where I'm going to walk you through 3 common terms, phrases or opinions and tell you whether or not they are correct. 99% of the time they are not correct. Unless you're doing something ridiculously stupid like trying to do box jumps while holding a barbell in an overhead position while on rollerblades. If you do enjoy the video, if you found it helpful, please drop a like and please do subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go. Okay, so number 1. People thinking that they're not losing weight, and the reason for them not losing weight is that they're gaining muscle mass. Okay, and the gaining muscle mass is then outweighing the loss of weight loss. Right? Now, having been or having worked in a gym environment myself, it is actually not uncommon to hear trainers tell clients this. Okay, often when a client might be struggling to lose weight, the trainer might say this or indicate this to try and make the situation not look as bad as it actually is. Which is obviously not the right thing to do, but I've seen it happen. And the reason why it's not the right thing to do is because this just isn't really true. Okay, now, if you are new to weight training, even while trying to drop body fat and being in a calorie deficit, adding muscle mass is potentially possible. Okay. However, the rate of muscle mass that you're going to accumulate while in a calorie deficit is likely going to be very slow. Plus, gaining muscle mass in itself, even if it wasn't slow and it was decent rates, is still not going to be as fast as losing weight and dropping body fat. The process of dropping body fat is just a lot quicker than the process of gaining muscle mass. So you're not going to be gaining any significant amount of muscle mass to a level where it is capable of shadowing, or should I say, masking the weight loss, right? Making the weight loss not look apparent because you're gaining weight or muscle at just as fast or quicker rate. It's not going to happen. If you're not losing weight over time, you're simply just not dropping weight and body fat at a rate fast enough that you would like. And in that situation, forget about the addition of muscle mass. You just need to increase the size of your deficit, or make sure you're in a deficit first and foremost, then increase the size of that deficit so your rate of loss is faster. In a scenario like this, we just need to be honest with ourselves, or going back to those trainers, honest with their clients, and just basically tell it how it is. You're either not in a calorie deficit, or just the size of the calorie deficit you're in is very, very small and we need to increase it. You're not going to be adding muscle mass at a fast enough rate to be outdoing the weight loss. Second, machines are safer than free weights. Now, even the word in itself, safer, is a very subjective term, which is obviously going to mean that this is a myth to begin with. However, there's things to think about and to talk about here which can go either way for this term or phrase or opinion. Number 1, free weights are easily just as safe as machines, depending on the individual and their form and execution. Okay, if your form and execution is absolutely bang on any movement, then it is going to be safe for you, unless you're doing something ridiculously stupid like trying to do box jumps while holding a barbell in an overhead position while on rollerblades. Secondly, the one benefit machines do have over free weights is that because with most machines you're locked in, you normally have a support either in front of you or behind you that you can drive into. Sometimes, again, depending on the machine, you might even have braces for your legs. Because you can lock yourself in on quite a few machines, you can create more stability, right? The machine allows you to create more stability because you can lean in, lock yourself into these things. Whereas free weights, you don't have normally these things to lean into or rest against, and you're having to create that stability yourself, and it's a lot harder. 2 things that does: 1, being in a more stable position, again, relative to form and execution, individual, weight being shifted, the movement might be safer. But secondly, it allows you to actually just produce a lot more force, okay, which, moving away from the safe side of things, producing more force is often a good thing if you want to shift more weight. But machines do allow you to just create more stability, which, yes, might make it a little bit safer, but at the same time, potentially not. On the other hand, we also have to take into consideration the individual, their biomechanics, how they're moving, and the machine. Sometimes some individuals might not fit a machine, and a machine might just feel terrible and really uncomfortable for them. And then if you're trying to force that movement and progressions through that machine, that could likely lead to injuries. Okay, so again, it's not just machine versus free weights, it's a lot of different factors we have to take into consideration. And then thirdly, best to train in the morning. Now we often hear this for fat loss quite typically, because people will talk about if you train in the morning, you're then burning more calories through the day, which just isn't true. And if you equate for calories, and the calories you're taking in and expending are the same, it doesn't really matter what time you train. But here's the really interesting, complicated and scientific reasoning behind whether or not training in the morning is going to be best for you. And that is, if you enjoy training in the morning. If you enjoy training in the morning, if you feel better, let's say more energetic in the mornings, you've got time in the mornings, you get a better session in the mornings in comparison to the evenings, then sure, train in the mornings. Vice versa, if you feel better in the evening, some people feel more energetic. Maybe they don't have time in the morning, they do in the evening, and you're going to get a better session in the evening. Train in the evening. Don't get caught up in these little factors of metabolism, which first and foremost is likely going to be bullshit. But don't get caught up in these little factors like that when it comes to training in the morning or the evening or anything else. The first thing you need to focus on is consistency. When can you train the most often, most frequently, more consistently in the day? Whatever time that is, then stick to that time, because consistency leads to results. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like. Please do subscribe if you haven't already so you can keep up to date with these videos. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great rest of